topic is here the power of the heart. We are talking about relationships. 3 research institutes did discover that the joy in a marriage already expires after 5 to 7 years. Why is it like that? The answer is simple. We change. All of us change. We grow out of our old shoes, so to speak. But a lot of people then start to look for an answer, to look for the sense of life into a new way, and look for the lost luck if they had it ever. You also might have heard these words or these sentences. My husband, my wife drives me crazy. You have heard my partner should change for me. I would be much more happier. Or another sentence, if these or other circumstances would be different, I would have today already a different life. But you know, all those of you who have already studied a little bit from the secret or the law of attraction, you know that humans have a tendency to project their problems into other people, to put their responsibility into others even. The first reaction, and that is very normal that it happen all the time again, when we have reached a state of being unhappy, we project it into the partner. There are different reasons to do that. We have an expectation. That means he or she has to make me happy. We are maybe in the state of being ingratitude, or we have manipulating desires or control functions. Out of this comes very often that the partner, the other one, rebels or gets frustrated. What I'm describing here is that there is a reaction from the lower ego. The lower ego has its home in the negativity in us. It can feel so miserable, but it would not support you at all to change, rather than feeling comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Because the ego knows this negative condition and how to get around with it. This is mostly our life at the end. The largest fear our ego has is in front of change, in front of the unknown. So if you try to get out of the situation, to get out of the box in which we have been trapped maybe, you cannot expect the support of the lower ego. It will tell you, better stay there, it is dangerous to change, you never know what you get then, and so on. So you need a lot of energy to push yourself and need some courage to get out of the box. We have a nice sentence here to tell you. The sentence is, feel the fear and do it anyhow. That gives you an outrageous self-value feeling. Like somebody who has fear in height and then jumps with a parachute from the aeroplane. Down on the ground. The person does not know any longer why he did not do that in former times. He's so happy that he overcame that. There is bad news for you, because not just me, I'm telling you that it is impossible, really impossible, to change somebody else. This is reconfirmed by the Association of Psychologists and Scientists. But the good message is that you can change yourself. You can call back, so to speak, all the subconscious projected issues to yourself. Own them and say, you're welcome, these are my projections, I take them back. Then you can change the whole situation. That is the good news. But please, it does not mean that when you take all these projections back, that you now point with the finger to yourself and maybe hopefully not criticizing your own incomplete affairs. No, we all carry some unsolved business because we are humans. And remember, we do not make mistakes. Everything serves us to learn from experiences. What happened in an unhappy partnership is that we did attract, by the law of attraction, a partner with the same frequency, with the same wave, if you want, however you call it. We want from the partner that he makes us happy. But as I told you, it cannot be done by our partner. When we do not carry happiness in us, how shall the partner bring it up in us? If we are needy, we attract, by the law of attraction, a needy partner. And that, you can imagine, ends up most of the time in dependency and codependency. Statistics show that these partnerships do not last. Of course, what happens when we have a new partner, we will be for a while in a honeymoon mood. Our serotonin level in the brain does increase. The happy hormones get wild. But this is not called love. This is called sensual attraction, eros, emotional fire. But after a while, these hormones are going to normalize themselves again. And when we are back to earth, earlier or later, the moment comes when we analyze. You can ask yourself, is my partner or I am tolerant? Do I give my partner and does he give me freedom? Does my partner support me? And do I support him, whatever he wishes to experience on his part? Does my partner have conditions on me and I towards him? What I mean is there an unwritten contract between you, which is called, I love you if. And then the long list of the condition comes. So, what are our deepest heart needs? Our biggest main heart need is being loved unconditional, being respected, being accepted. We want to be who we are without shame and guilt. We do not want to bend. But that requires that you first respect yourself, accept and love yourself. Self-love does not have to do anything, or has not to do anything with egoism. The question is easy: who shall love me if I cannot love myself? Technically seen, is self-love the receiving the love of our own higher self. This is a reconnection with your higher self, with your heart towards your higher self. There is another offer which is often given to self-help groups that says, love your shadow to death. With the shadow we mean the ego we have spoken earlier of. Because the shadow does carry for us our wounds. Like a kid, it actually wants our attention and our love. I will tell you this more in detail in an example. We were rejected again and again as a child. We rarely were allowed to express ourselves. We were not allowed to express our anger, or we have not been heard at all. There are two ways how the child reacts. The child can hide in its own world. It's getting shy. Or the child becomes a rebel, becomes very loud to be heard. But that did cause another punishment, I guess. In both cases, the energy of the child was paralyzed. It received a stamp, which is called I am not worthy to be loved, or I'm not good enough. So these thoughts are kept by the shadow, and the shadow decides then how to get around with it in his life, to protect you or to support you. So that child, what was very child, maybe is going to work as an artist later, to express itself in that way. And the rebel may work later in organization of human rights and help support people. Anyhow, the shadow, which we want always to get rid of because it looks like to us weak, helped us to survive in our childhood. I ask you, just use your imagination. Let the shadow be in front of you and jump over the shadow. Turn back your face and look into the eyes of the shadow and say, "Dear shadow, you're a strong type. Tell me, how can I help you?" That's all what the shadow wants. You have not listened to him before. You have not listened to the wounds. We try to deny that because we believed we cannot handle it. It's too much pain. But it is not that bad as we always think. You may also ask me, for what should I do it? And I'm answering you, this is the fastest way to break the cycle in which we are trapped. I might just describe a little bit more what is it technically with your body and your aura, or whatever you call it. Because around our body we can see our soul. Around that we find our higher self. Our heart is connected to the higher self. You should know that special cameras are in today's time are able to show these fine layers around the physical body. With the heart, we are connected with our higher self. If we give permission and we pat our ego to be quiet, we give permission to our higher self that we would like to receive the love from our higher self. To make a reconnection. There are many books written about the reconnection. Anyhow, you're not able to run away from your shadow, like Peter Pan. So this is a journey into yourself. With such a journey, you've done a huge amount of work, which is a solid foundation for a good partnership. If you can accept the love or the connection to your higher self, then you're going to radiate love. And again, there we are with the law of attraction. If you are love, you attract love. You become a magnet for love. Some further regulations we have as well from the happy people for you. These regulations are: first, listening to the partner. Second, arrange a time to allow the partner to speak for 40 minutes without interrupting him. Sit in opposite and let him talk. Hold yourself back at least for being in a neutral state. I know that's difficult. I give you a good example, but I have my own problems with this as well. But I advise you, do not react, only listen. Be aware what you feel meanwhile your partner talks and talks and talks. It's not easy to say nothing. Third, give him and give yourself freedom. The freedom to spend evenings with your own friends. Freedom to spend the vacation time alone. By the way, this is advised by psychologists. It refreshes a partnership. Follow your own interest. We remind you again, after 7 years, we change. Your partner changes. If you live his life instead of your own life, where you are, you do neglect yourself, suppressing your own needs. That is easy to understand. Then there is this huge sentence, love has no conditions. Sounds so easy. But it is not. Especially with that sentence, the ego is very angry. Because in your childhood already, parents or others told you, I love you if you act as I want it in that and that way. But love is. Love is not exclusive for one person. I have love in my heart, or I don't have it in my heart. Gandhi said, become the change you want to see in the world. So it is again up to you to change to be the love, if you like to attract love into your life.